Here Comes the Guillotine contains offensive language, mature content and adult themes. There is no mature content in any of this. It's not suitable for all listeners.
This is a Global Player original podcast.
Hello and welcome to Here Comes the Guillotine. I'm Frankie Boyle and I'm going to be talking to Susie McCabe and Christopher MacArthur Boyd. And there's no theme, we just talk. And as evidence of this, I'm going to talk about what I saw on the subway in, which is Boy George in the Panto at Glasgow Hydro. I didn't know about that.
Really?
He was on the subway?
No, the poster.
It was an advert?
It's not just telling people one by one.
That's a good way of doing it. It's a kind of modern guerrilla marketing thing. I just having Boy George at Cookadden's. Just leaning into people and going, it's on, it's happening.
Come see me.
But I was reminded of saying to someone when he was on I'm a Celebrity, I was going, I hope Boy George wins, you know? Mm-hmm. And they were like, no, cause he like kidnapped some rent boy. Maybe went to jail for it or was like charged with it or something, right? Mm-hmm. And she was like, so you can't like him? And I was like, who among us
hasn't captured the rent boy? Who are we to judge?
Let he who is without sin cast the first stone.
That's exactly it. And she was like, you can't let he who is without sin this one because he kidnapped this rent boy. And I'm like, that's exactly the sort of thing we have to forgive because like he did time for it. I think he went to jail.
He did go to jail,
and
yeah.
You're like, well, like he's like the only celebrity who's ever faced consequences
and survived jail and got out it.
Yeah.
I think Boy George would be really funny if you were just hanging out with him having a coffee.
So did the rent boy, to be fair, and then he ended up getting kidnapped.
chained to a radiator
Right.
in a New York apartment.
But if we don't forgive people who chain folk to radiators.
What year was this?
It wasn't. It was like in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Post 9/11?
Yeah.
That was what did it. That's what tipped him over the edge.
Is that your marker for everything? 9/11. Are you like?
I mean, it makes more sense than BC and AD. I don't care when Jesus was born.
Traumatised by.
I think that Boy
George's
George's kidnap of a rent boy and subsequent handcuffing to a radiator was a response to the actions of Al Qaeda.
I think he would have seen that as karma.
That's what the song was about. What is the song Karma Chameleon about? Sorry to look at you, Susie,
I
but
know,
you
I
are
feel
a kind
you've just culturally appropriated me.
No, I know that you're a big part of your community and you might know maybe.
Let's look up the lyrics.
Karma Chameleon, I just don't understand. You know, a chameleon is a little lizard with
red, gold and green.
Red, gold and green.
Red, gold,
and other colours, to be fair. Red, gold and green I associate with Christmas more than chameleons.
Your loving would be easy.
Loving would be easy because of
Desert loving in your eyes all the way. If I listen to your lies, would you say, I'm a man without conviction?
Oh, is it about being in a relationship with someone who's in the closet? Was he not in a relationship with someone in the band who wasn't
The
out?
Culture Club.
Yeah, there was also...
He wasn't out. He was in the Culture Club when he was a closeted homosexual.
Yeah, there was also a thing as well with Boy George where he had a real issue with musicians at that time who were known homosexuals and didn't come out. And he's like, why am I getting all this grief when you two also...
Oh, you're a Karma Chameleon, mate.
Susie,
fucking blending in with these
Susie,
straight
bang
bastards.
on, listen to this. If I listen to your lies, would you say, I'm a man without conviction. I'm a man who doesn't know how to sell a contradiction. You come and go. So it's someone who's perhaps been Boy George's lover and then going and pretending to be straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was quite a lot of that going on. When was Karma Chameleon out? 84, 85?
Mm-hmm.
What else have you seen on the posters in Kelvin Grove? Subway station.
That was really the highlight.
Yeah.
I was so entranced by that, I didn't really look at the rest.
It might be a little bit parochial, but I always see the poster for Peter Powers, kind of hypnotist. Do you know him?
No, I don't. Did you think I would?
Well, showbiz.
I always find it's good to have a hypnotist in the old roller decade, if you know what I mean.
Well,
Some people I want to forget about things and Peter, get yourself round here.
You've never done a benefit with Peter Powers, the hypnotist.
Never done a
Susie?
benefit with Peter Powers, the hypnotist. 'Cause
I'm not saying it's the circles you both run in, this powerful hypnotist, Peter,
What kind
but
of benefit goes, we're trying to raise money for Palestine emergency funds, let's get someone up to eat an onion.
let's get someone up to think they're a chicken.
I wonder, is he still in the go?
Oh, well, tell that to, if the Subway's taking the money to put these posters up for shows that don't exist, I
I
mean,
don't think they get money, he just tells them.
the money is in your bank account, and then, you know, you're gazing into a medallion that's...
What was this panto?
Peter Pan?
No, Peter Powers is oh, you're talking about the Boy George thing? Right. Getting away from Peter
You're
Powers.
like, no, he's an actual hypnotist.
It's not a
is he?
pantomime, it's serious
It's-
hypnotism.
It's real skill.
What was it Peter Pan that Boy George was in?
I used to have some horrible bit about the Lost Boys in Peter Pan with the souls of abortions,
Oh,
which would always get a big, and then I go, which certainly explains Captain Hook. And they go, oh no, fair enough.
Oh, I see what you've done. That's very clever. The whims of a crowd.
J.M. Barrie, did he not also do the camera obscura that's up in
Edinburgh?
Kirriemuir? No, in Kirriemuir. I am sure that he built the pavilion.
Right.
Oh, he actually maybe built the pavilion that they put a camera obscura in.
Tony Robinson's time team back on the case, man.
The Time Team, like that wee guy. Who was the wee guy? Like Baldrick,
Yeah, Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins. That was a great program.
The Time Team. What?
Just a bunch of cider smelling guys, fucking
It's a terrible
rooting
program.
about in the dirt trying to find bits of clay.
They want to get back on that bit with the true crime wave and just been going round like Tobin's back garden.
He never had a back garden. This is a problem.
That was a problem.
Well, Toby didn't have. Well, this is a problem.
One
We
of
can victim
several
of more.
problems.
There was quite a lot. So, yeah, there was like no real fix the body. It was just
He was a wanderer like Dion.
one, except he was murdering women.
We don't know that Dion wasn't murdering women. As I'm the wanderer, I roam around. You don't know what he was doing when he was roaming around.
You've had way too much coffee this morning, man. Way too much coffee. I could sense this on my arrival that you've had too much coffee.
New rule, I'm not allowed to sing Dion.
Or at all. They do still think that he was Bible John though, don't they?
No.
No, did they get
It's
rid
like-
of that?
There is a theory that it was Bible John, but it just doesn't add up. Doesn't it really? None of it really holds together.
Is it a kind of Dread Pirate Roberts thing? Bible John, where loads of people were doing it?
Like, you just know the police have missed something in that investigation. They've missed something probably quite crucial. Because, I mean, there was no, like, preserving of a crime scene, was there? You look at the pictures and it's just old guys with trench coats and fags, like, that's another one, boss.
Looks like the killer was smoking fags quite recently. That one's still lit. The fuck? What was that thing we were listening to into that West Cork?
Oh, yes.
That, I mean, they were just shite, weren't they?
Yes.
They were like properly the worst police in the world.
Aye, but it was almost like they'd never had a crime to solve before, which they probably didn't.
Anytime a podcast comes in and solves it,
It's not great. It's not great. No, that was a guy I used to work with told me to listen to that, and I listened to it and I was like, this is mental. And then was it on Netflix?
Was it? I don't know.
Aye,
I just heard the podcast.
I think they had the documentary on it, and the whole time you were just like, it was like these policemen were like, we have got a crime to solve.
It's
and
a really dramatic crime as well. A wee French woman
just sitting writing
writing and, you know,
in a wee village
aye.
in West Cork.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty grim at Christmas time.
And the
then-
police are just shite in it.
But
All cops are dafties.
I don't think the police in that area had even done somebody for like drink driving.
No.
Do you know what I mean? I
Well,
don't
it's
think
not a
like
crime in the countryside, is it?
well,
Yeah.
that's
do you know
the
what I mean?
last thing they'd do you for.
Because they'd be drinking with you.
Hand you a ticket in the passenger seat.
They Gardaí. But aye,
I
they
liked your all coppers are dafties version of ACAB.
Yeah, a kid.
they had never solved a crime in their life. They were just like going to their work every day and sitting about.
Yeah.
Maybe look for a sheep rustler.
The last crime was someone poached his salmon, and it was me.
Would you like some?
It was a good podcast though, that Best Court. But if a podcast solves it, the police haven't done their job.
It's like if we solved fucking Peter Tobin, do you know what I mean? If we just
That's already been solved.
Is it?
Peter Tobin solved it. It was
Oh,
Peter Tobin.
it was him.
Bible John.
Bible John hasn't been
man.
solved. Peter Tobin has been solved.
Peter
It was
Tobin's
Peter.
the criminal.
accused Mr. Tobin of being Peter Tobin.
Aye. If we
I sometimes wonder if Bible John did the Bible bit as a red herring.
Oh, totally.
So he's like, he knows he's been observed. He's got to be with their pals and whatever during the chat up phase. Throws in some Bible quotes, weird, you know. And he's like, that's going to dominate their memory of me. But then, why would you want to be memorable?
For talking in scripture.
Why would you want to be
want
memorable?
to forget about you? It's a stupid idea.
Oh, it's
But
like
anyway.
that bit in, do you know, The World According to Garp
Mhm.
by John Irvin.
I don't
and
know this.
there's a killer, there's a paedophilic killer in that. But what he does is he grows a mustache, does the act, then runs, shaves the mustache. Then, if he gets like caught, the child's like, no, it wasn't him. He had a mustache, and this paedophile's running about, and he can only do it is when the mustache grows back. But then the main character,
Like Samson.
yeah,
Aye. Aye.
the anti-Samson, and then basically the Garp, the main character played by Robin Williams in the film, he puts dirt on the paedophile's face to make a mustache, and then the child's like, no, it was him, and that's how they catch him. Great book.
Oft.
I love John Irvin.
Oft.
So maybe it's like that. Maybe the biblical aspect is the dirt mustache of Bible John. If you know what I'm saying.
I do know what you're saying, sadly.
But you know the thing with Bible John, like, why would you just stop? Like, clearly you're a serial killer. So why what's made you just stop?
You've been convicted for something else. You've had to leave the country. Some people think you went to America.
Mm-hmm.
There's a fair bit of immigration to the States in those days, as there always has been. You moved somewhere in Britain.
Caught by a vigilante. Some
Oh.
Batman figure.
Or you just chill out. You know? You're just like, you know what? That's actually really chilled me.
I got that out my system.
I done it when I was a younger man.
Yeah.
And now I'm settled down.
Do I agree with everything I did? No.
You just get really into a hobby,
Yeah.
you know?
Jigsaws.
Playing the bass. And he's like, what was that all about? That killing menstruating women?
How did he know?
I didn't know
How
what.
did they know that they were all menstruating? Because they all were. Like, is that just
He's
a...
like a bloodhound.
Yeah.
I reckon.
A vampire.
Yeah, but maybe that's so only just the ones, that was what triggered his violence.
Was that?
Yeah.
He died recently, Tobin, didn't he?
Yeah.
Aye. Died recently.
What of?
I think just old age.
Yeah.
I mean, he was ancient when he got put into prison. Remember that picture of him coming out the court and he's trying to hit the woman? Like the women journalist? Aye, he's getting taken into the van and he's like raging. He just hated women.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Leopard never changes his spots if he's lashing out and trying to kick them on the way back to jail or whatever. I mean, like, this is your one chance to charm someone and you're fucking
He's getting no charm, man.
snapping at people.
Aye, he was
Get a
raging.
grip, Peter.
Aye.
Dead bastard.
Can't wait till we go through the generation of incels when they're in their 60s. Fucking see who they've murdered.
Incels won't make it to 60, man. They'll drown from the inside out, just full of cum, you know.
Come and hate.
Yeah, cum hate. Inside drowning. Cum running down their eyes like tears.
Andrew Tate.
Yeah, it's another incel, Roy. Get stretch out.
Get them up. He's come exploded.
What's happening in Peter Pan? Let's go back. My knowledge of it is pretty shaky.
Okay, we
There's
start
the Lost
off.
Boys, the souls of abortions, as I've confirmed.
Let's start off in a bedroom in London where Wendy can't get to sleep, and her brother and sisters say, "Hey, Peter Pan's coming." She goes, "Who's that?" He's this boy that comes around every night. He's immortal. He's been alive for decades. He's always a child. He never grew up.
Do you know what I'm starting to think?
What?
Boy George captured Peter Pan. That's what he was doing.
He was trying to, or he did?
He did. He chained him to a radiator. And he was like, "Look," and we just prosecuted him. I think Peter Pan is real, and Boy George was trying to show us, and now he's in this show.
Yeah.
Going, look.
Do you think he stops the show every day? Every day?
Impassioned 30-minute monologue.
What venue is this?
Peter Pan's alive.
Is it the Hydro?
At the Hydro. Imagine 20 minutes into a quite high budget Peter Pan musical. The lights go down, spotlight on Boy George, and he's just screaming about how Pan is real.
Pan's real. He's stealing wains.
Mm-hmm. Because what was Captain Hook's MO?
Well, Captain Hook's just floating about in a ship. And
Being a pirate.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to kill
Shmee.
Peter Pan and the Lost Boys. And there's some Native Americans cutting about.
On the ship?
No, they're another
Right,
separate group.
my
Tiger
knowledge of
Lily.
this is very shaky. I'm going to need to go home and
there's-
watch Hook.
There's some naked Americans. There's some
Naked Americans?
There's some Native Americans cutting about.
I'm not sure there was Native Americans in the book. I'm not going to be. I'm going to be honest.
It would have been post Mayflower.
Yeah.
Maybe
It's-
they would have
it's-
known about.
America existed.
Yeah, America existed at the
Don't worry
time.
about that. And yeah, that's all in it. That's part of it.
Wow.
And he had Tinkerbell, a little tiny
Woman
Fairy.
who couldn't
Fairy?
speak. He didn't want her to speak.
Silencing women.
Yeah.
Standard.
A little annoying woman who always wants to talk
the
to Peter,
glory.
but Peter's got other things in his mind. I urges
Oh, jeez.
to kidnap children from England and take them to America, where the Native Americans
To the New World.
to the New World. This kind of makes me sick. I just don't know what Hook wanted. Obviously, a crocodile ate his watch or something.
a crocodile was after him. It ate his hand and it found it so delicious it wanted to eat the rest of him. But it also ate a clock. So it's originally a play, so it's a device in the play where you hear this clock coming. And Hook has to leg it because he knows the crocodile is
It's close
is
by.
on its way. I'm going to throw something out. What if these characters were in fact able to access our reality, and thus Peter Pan was captured by Boy George and Captain Hook was Bible John? It wouldn't be out of character.
No, but it's a leap. It's a leap.
It is a leap, to be fair.
Why would they do that? Why would Captain Hook do these things against women?
Well, he's always up to all sorts.
He is a nefarious
He's a
chap.
nefarious guy.
He's a
He
pirate.
wants to kill people. He's a pirate. Doesn't really quote the Bible that much.
No, never once. Which was the Bible John.
Certainly not in the films. Certainly not.
But then you were saying the Bible thing was a smokescreen, so maybe it is a kind of, hey,
Because if he talked about stuff he really wanted to talk about, how much he hates Peter Pan and the Lost Boys, that would have been a dead giveaway.
And just children.
Yeah.
yeah, you
Children
never heard
and
about
women.
you never heard about somebody who survived Bible John, and they were like, yeah, he kept talking about how much he hated crocodiles.
Well, that's what you're going to find out in the end. That's why Bible John stopped. He was eaten by a crocodile. They'll find him in like Blair Drummond Safari Park or something like that. They'll just find, oh, this looks exactly like Bible John.
Green tights wrapped around his neck. Yeah.
I think that's pretty funny if we edit out some of the real horror.
Yeah.
Like the green tights round the neck. Like, that needs to go, guys. That's
Oh, that's Peter.
That's like Peter Pan got him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But it's
Took his own trousers off and strangled him.
the exact same way that Bible John murdered those women.
Did he?
Aye!
No!
I'm saying you need to drop it.
Great, okay. That was just me tapping into the subconscious.
Your
Oh,
subconscious.
you were actually revealing a little something there.
Are
about
you
what
Bible
knew
John?
about the MO?
I'm not Bible John and I'm not Captain Hook. Boy George is Captain Hook.
In this panto.
Who else is in that panto?
I'd never heard of them, but I've not heard of lots of people. So there's lots of people now who are like reality telly famous, aren't they? Who are proper famous, but I wouldn't know who they are.
Boy George,
Here we go.
Peter Pan.
I'd love this if there was some absolute belting famous people in here. Barbara Streisand.
The King of England.
What decade were you a child? Like, what decade?
Arguably the last three. I was born in 1993.
So the world was quite, wasn't it? I feel that we've had a very different childhood to Christopher.
My family's not a very news family.
So my family's not a political family, but like I kind of grew up and it was like the miners. It was like the race riots in London, the miners.
I was 8 when 9/11 happened. I mean, that was pretty big.
That was a big thing.
Yeah.
I was 21.
That's why it was so important to my understanding. And I think that's why Boy George was trying to solve 9/11 somehow when he kidnapped that red boy and tied him in a radiator.
You're never rebalancing that karma. That karma's gone forever.
Yeah.
The day the towers fell. Was it an inside job? Was it an inside job?
I know this is controversial, but I think what brought those towers down was those two jet planes. They flew into them at several hundred miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had people online call me a 9/11 truther.
Wow.
Yeah, that you're like, yeah. You know
The
what?
opinion that you
I
think the
think-
towers fell because the planes flew into them.
I think if you fly a
plane.
jet aircraft full of fuel at pretty much anything, it's going down.
It might fall down.
Yeah. It might
What
well
about
fall
Building
down.
7?
I think it went on fire and fell down. And it was right beside those two huge exploding buildings. I think that probably set off.
What about the Pentagon?
The Pentagon, a missile.
That was a missile.
Yeah, that was a missile from
Yeah.
the Rosicrucians.
Yeah.
The
What?
The
The
Rosicrucians.
The rows of cushions?
The Rosicrucians.
Rosicrucians are like a kind of cult that was like an invented cult.
Oh.
So it was like this knowledge of the Rosicrucians was written as a kind of pamphlet of this is a secret society. And
Can you spell this for me? I don't know what words I'm hearing. Like ROSA, Rosa? Crucians?
CRU.
And what was the beliefs?
it's really fucking. Wait there.
Wait till we hear for the 9/11 truther.
ROSICRUCIANIS.
I've never heard of these lads.
Rosicrucianism.
Well, you know you're going to find out.
You're in for a treat.
What was their
It's a
MO?
spiritual movement that arose in Europe in the early 17th century after the publication of several texts announcing to the world a new esoteric order. So they just went, look, here we are. This is how it's going to be.
It's a bit like us with this podcast.
Yeah, here we are.
Between 1610 and 1615, two anonymous manifestos appeared in Germany and were published throughout Europe. They were basically kind of occult stuff. The manifestos elaborate extensively but cryptically on things like the Kabbalah, Hermeticism, alchemy, and Christian mysticism. And basically, it was a kind of a new way of thinking, a hermetic, archaic revival.
Of alchemy?
alchemy's one of the things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The kind of Merlin type deal.
I don't know if Merlin was involved.
No, but they liked Merlin. What were they into?
They proposed various kind of there's a thing called the Rosicrucian Enlightenment. In the early 17th century, the manifestos caused excitement throughout Europe by declaring the existence of a secret brotherhood of alchemists who were preparing to transform the arts and scientists, religious, political and intellectual landscapes of Europe. So all these books get written that are kind of a bit of an archaic revival to things like alchemy.
What aspect to alchemy? Turning mud into stones, turning mud into really shite alchemy, turning mud into gold or something. We've turned mud into stones. Brilliant, nice one.
The peak of the Rosicrucianism furore was reached when two mysterious posters appeared on the walls of Paris in 1622 within a few days of each other. The first said, "We, the deputies of the Higher College of the Rose Croix, do make our stay visibly and invisibly in this city." And the second ended with the words, "The thoughts attached to the real desire of the seeker will lead us to him and him to us."
Two posters.
Two pretty ambiguous posters.
Not too dissimilar from a poster you saw on the subway today.
Not too dissimilar at all. Yeah, so it's some weird culty, made-up culty thing that just emerged in the 17th century.
And they shot a missile at the Pentagon on September 11th, 2001.
Well,
arguably.
I believe they do. They did.
Yeah.
I have reason to believe they did. You know, Al Qaeda didn't really do 9/11 in one sense, and they were sort of like essentially a kind of like venture capital fund. So you come to Bin Laden and you go, "I've got a great idea for some terror," and he'd go, "It's kind of Dragon's Den."
Yeah, the Dragon Dens of
And he'd got,
international
like, two
terror.
planes and then a Rosicrucian missile.
He had to kind of
Pentagon.
Duncan Bannatyne it and go,
yeah.
"Well, sell it to me."
Yeah, and that was very much his accent. And so in a sense, Al Qaeda just kind of gave them money and a few contacts, didn't they?
Respect.
Yeah.
So
They were Saudi Arabian largely.
Well, controversial, but yeah, I think that's probably just how it panned out. But I don't know where. But none of these guys, like, where did they come from? Who picked them to do that? Because I mean, that is a bold terrorist move. It's not exactly a remote detonation, is it? In a bin. Do you know what I mean? It's just, I mean, it's bold. We're going to hijack two planes.
It's so hard to top. It's just kind of killed terrorism.
Yeah. They've all been shite since then. Oh, blow a train up. Fucking, I've got a knife running out. Fucking,
I've got a gun.
I've got a gun. Oh, my car's on fire. Now you can't. Now it's expensive to drop people off at Glasgow Airport.
It's like following Zeppelin. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Coming on and like with your kazoo.
Do you think there will be Led Zeppelin, huge rock band, hard to follow. Now you have bands like Greta Van Fleet, 50 years later, who don't even try and do anything different. They're like, do you know what? They were fine. Let's just do that again. Do you think in 50 years, 2051, there'll be kind of 9/11 retro rockers?
I think Greta Van Fleet.
I think Greta Van Fleet.
Yeah. I think they are already in the advanced planning stage of repeating 9/11.
Also played the hydro. Do you think they had something about the hydro?
It's on a ley line, probably.
I think there's runes beneath the concrete. What do you think? You've played the hydro. Did you feel a demonic force?
I did, aye. It was mainly drunk Glaswegians, to be honest with you. Aye, I did play it.
People drinking sealed cups of wine.
Yeah.
What's that about?
Aye, people taking cocaine at a comedy gig. What's that about? Sitting in an arena going, you need to use a disabled toilet because there's no system in the other ones.
Truly a force for evil. The people doing coke. I had that lassie hiccuping in the front row.
Yeah.
What can you do?
Nothing.
You're doing stand up. This woman in the front row is going,
Scream at them.
yeah.
Surprise them.
That's your answer for everything.
Just tell her who really did 9/11 really quickly.
The Rosicrucians.
Yeah.
Rosicrucians, missile, Pentagon.
I took Miles up to the Hydro one time to see the Mobos, which was a good night out.
The Mobos are the
Music
of Black Origin.
yes. How did Miles fit in?
Jessie J came up at one point.
In conversation or on stage?
just in general chit chat, as she always does. She got a couple of awards, and she came up and in her speech she said, "Thanks very much. And at the after party, I want to see everyone getting their dicks out on the dance floor." And got up, turned to me and went, "What an extraordinary invitation."
I can't believe Jessie J said that. I've never been at a party and thought, everybody just get their dicks out on the dance floor. Come on.
You wait till you leave. It won't be done with it.
I cannot think of two whiter men to go to the Mobos than you and Miles
I've been to the
Jupp.
Mobos a few times. Yeah.
Did Miles go back after he got his dick out on the dance floor?
No, I think he'd seen all he needed to.
Yeah, I think so.
He is one of the nicest men in humanity, isn't he, Miles? He's a lovely
class.
man.
He's in the Napoleon film. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen it.
He's like the Duke of Austria or something.
Of course he is. Of course he's a duke.
There was a lot of kind of controversy with that film because people were like, cannons don't actually work like that. You can't use cannons like this. Do you have any truck with historical accuracy in film? Do you care?
Not about a fucking cannon, I don't know. Honestly, do you know, a clip of mine was online and it was about half pints, and the whole joke was about how you can't get a half pint in Scotland and how I'm from Glasgow. And this woman commented under it going, "You actually can get a half pint in Glasgow?" And I'm like, just stop being such a Karen.
I was saying something incorrect for humorous effect.
Just a joke. So many Karens. It's grim. It's grim. People get really upset with stuff like that nowadays, and you just think,
Inaccuracy.
But isn't it also that everybody gets tuned out, and if you say something annoying, someone's got to go, "Shut the fuck up, it's a joke." And that's more attention than they normally get. Do you know what I mean? So it's
From anybody in their life. There's a lot of lonely people out there who are clinging on to life because they've just got nothing. And this is the only thing they have, is that they talk to people on the internet and they go, "Shut the fuck up, yeah, do it." And they go, "Oh, I'm alive."
And it's sort of, they call it reply guys, don't they? But there's a whole breed of people who agree with you and still have to be annoying.
Yeah.
So they'll reply to your tweet or your thread or whatever, and they'll go, "And this surprises you?" And you're
yes.
like, yeah. So you actually agree with me, but you still want to be annoying.
Mm-hmm. Which is beautiful.
It's normally people as well who do that, like when newspapers put things up, you know, when newspapers put articles up, and they're like, "Well, let me tell you," and you're like, just nobody cares. Nobody's replying to this. Nobody cares. And then you'll get another one, and then they all just start to eat each other. And you just think, somebody's talking about Christmas lights or somebody's talking about parking. Do you know what I mean? It's just,
I sometimes think the men know they cannot say anything.
No.
They cannot reply.
I done
know
a
what I mean?
gig the other week where I had to say to a table of men, like, you need to realise that nobody wants your golf club banter.
Yeah.
Like, nobody, like, and it was all guys over 50, usual, "Hey, I'll tell you how it is," and you're like, shut the fuck up, because no one cares about you, because you've ruined everybody's world with your shite voting, and you're just awful. It's just like, "Hey, I'm still relevant," and you're like, "You're fucking not." Or, I don't even think you were. But yeah, you see them. But also, it's not just old guys that are like that. There's younger guys that are like that now. Guys in their 20s are like, "Hey, wait, and I'll tell you about autism." "Do you have autism?" "No, but I'll tell you what my problem with it is." And you're like,
These autism explainers, man, they make me sick.
like, aye, listen, I once had a guy I dug up on a podcast who I dug up who was talking to another comedian, and he was talking about comedy courses. And he went, well, I never done a comedy course because I'm not gay. And I was like, oh.
Well, I fucking did, because I'm gay.
Aye. Super thunder lesbian. And I was like, what was that all about, man? That's just like such a shite thing to say. And he was like, hey, I've got LGBT friends. I am in no way homophobic. I've actually got a trans friend. And I was like, everything that you're saying is pointing in the direction of you're mildly homophobic. Do you know what I mean? There's just a lot of that going on.
I would say comedy courses are one of the least gay spaces. Tends to be troubled heterosexuals.
Deeply troubled.
I was the only gay in mine. I'd only done it for Adele.
You only done it for Adele?
I done it for Adele.
Adele? I thought you said you did it for Adele, the singer. I only went my comedy course because Adele told me to.
Aye. She went to the Brit school. I went to a comedy course. Aye. I just think there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that going on, especially with young. I think you've got the Andrew Tate guys.
Yes.
Who just like, I'm going to give you my opinion.
They come exploding incels.
That's the ones. And then
Balls
you've
rupture with.
just get the old guys that can't come anymore, so they just need to tell you how important they are.
A lot of people's behaviour is dictated by cum.
Oh, it's because they've got dicks.
Oh.
Are you going to start making excuses for Tobin here?
Again.
I think if Tobin had someone in his life who
loved him.
who loved him, and I'm not blaming anybody for his actions other than him, but I think it takes a village to raise a child.
Hopefully
Wow.
had someone who loved him towards the end in jail.
Yeah.
It's weird, these examples of masculinity, isn't it? It's like Jordan Peterson.
Oh.
Kermit
Like-
in a suit. At least Kermit had a good laugh and he played the banjo and he rode a bike and all that type of stuff. But what does Jordan Peterson do other than wear ugly suits and kind of lecture you about cleaning your room? Fuck off.
It's all that stuff as well that's like stand up straight, make your bed, and women are a kind of dragon force from the lower fourth dimension. And you're like, what? Wait, what's that last one?
It's
Was that
like,
what you said?
aye, women have got the power of the vagina. You're just like, behave. Just behave.
If you were writing a satire, you would make everything about him. You're like, yeah, put him on an all beef diet. Do you know what I mean? Have him weep regularly.
The idea of writing a book called The Antidote to Chaos and then you end up in a medically induced coma in Russia.
A beef induced coma.
Yeah, beef induced. Cider induced coma because he had one glass of cider in his body. He said his body just fell apart. He had a cider, which is what children drink.
Really?
You know, yeah, he's a strange customer. I think he should be put to death.
It's what Scottish people drink because there's no drink.
Yeah, cider. It's basically a fruit juice in Scotland.
It's a fizzy fruit shoot.
If you were going to like design a heterosexual man to appeal to the masses, Andrew Tate wouldn't be
No,
what I would come up with either.
no.
A baldy guy for Slough.
A heavily styled baldy guy. Do you know what I mean? I always think of masculinity. I mean, and who am I to say? But of masculinity, of having a certain
Masculine quality to it.
masculine quality, a certain not caring about
Your
frippery.
eyebrows.
Yeah, and having like a heavily outlined stubble or whatever. I always just think that's kind of
Not masculine.
What, like the immaculately carved lines of a beard? Drawn on beard and stuff with a wee, it's like guy liner with a wee moustache, isn't it?
I'm old, but when people shave that line under their beard to go, I've got a beard, but I could shave it if I wanted to. You know, I take care of myself. I'm not a tramp. I've just got a beard.
People like to see my neck.
And you're like, come, just, let go.
Let go of the line.
Let go of the lines. Let all the lines go.
All the guys are into that though. Like I can sit in my hairdressers and it's also a beauty salon. You see all the young guys coming in like 35 and under and they're all in for a sack, bank and crack. Loads of them.
I think it's good to have obviously my other podcast is sponsored by Manscaped.
Is that your wee ball trimmers?
The ball, I don't have.
Are you joking here? Or is
My other podcast is sponsored by
a male
a male grooming thing. I have
a ball razor?
yeah.
Holy shit.
It's called the Weed Whacker, and it's a pair of waterproof clippers that I attack myself with in the shower.
And it
You
is
shave your balls?
Yeah.
all the young
For
guys
who?
that do this.
What?
All the young guys do
It's not
this.
you, Frankie.
I can't believe I was talking about
An
finding
egg-line.
this not masculine when they had to, and he's like, I shave my balls in the
Yeah,
shower.
they've got little, and they've got
Balls.
different little razors, don't they?
Gooch, thighs, dick.
What are you doing, man? What is this?
Scotty, it's important these days.
Are you trying to...
This is a generation gap, I think.
Yeah, I've also seen heterosexual men, because gay men, and a lot of gay men that I know have always looked after like their fingernails and just like kept an eye on their cuticles and stuff. But I have seen a lot of heterosexual men sitting getting their nails done.
I would get my nails done, but I bite them due to anxiety. So I'm too anxious to be that metrosexual. But
You're doing enough.
So, because there's all different types of those razors, though, isn't there? There's like the lawnmower.
weed whacker, got ball toner, ball deodorant,
Ball talc.
ball talc. I've got
I know.
special pants I wear.
I'll literally just give him a once over
With what?
With
Pearl
soap.
soap.
With soap?
Soap.
Jesus Christ. Soap? What, hand soap? What, Dove?
Yeah.
On your pubes?
What else would you use?
A razor? I don't want to think about your pube situation or your pube. I don't want to think about any. That's for everybody and their partners to enjoy their own pubes, right? But
It's like Chewbacca in a high wind.
walking into the tundra, on planet Hoth.
There is, like, honestly, like, I can genuinely sit in the hairdressers and be like, it's another guy's running that, and that's where they're all in getting. Some of them got, like, I've seen them.
If I was a lassie and I had a one night stand and the guy fucking drops his trousers and he's like completely got no pubes, I would scream.
It's not no pubes. Some pubes.
But some guys don't. Some guys are
what?
getting it.
Oh, I see. You're trimming your pubes to make your cock look bigger, like a porn star.
Amazing.
Yes. This is the style these days, Frankie. This is what people do. This is the way of the world.
Now, how would you feel if it was the other way? What happens if you go home with a lady and then she's like, got nothing down there?
I think it's been that way for years. I think it's weird.
I
Yes.
think it's weird. I think there should be like a something.
Life's all about balance. The Taoists of China would say that you need some, not too many, not too little.
Yes, this is what I agree with. And I've had like discussions about this with friends, and they're like, no, all the way. And I'm like, no.
Or
'cause
like Frankie, who is a radical pubist who
See,
worships
you're
the
like,
pube.
this is like the 9/11 truther thing. What, just keeping your pubes now is a radical position?
All of them, yes.
This
Are
maniac.
you a Rosicrucian?
Look at this maniac thinking planes knock down buildings. People should have pubes.
You should have some, but you need to kind of... It's just polite, isn't it?
A lot of women don't have any, though.
Yes, too much. I don't like that.
A lot of women don't have any, which I think's a bit kind of weird.
You're
Women
not
can
going to
do it
bring
with
it
their
up, though, are
bodies.
you? You're not going to be grow a few pubes for the next time.
Come back in a fortnight.
Put on something sexy.
Bring
grow
your
a few
pubes with you.
Imagine if a woman turned around to you and said, I think I'd prefer your balls with hair on them.
No, I think that's a fair assessment. It's kind of impolite to tell somebody what you think about
Well, you
their,
know what happens? It's going to grow back thicker. If you start, you
Well, this
start
is what's
shaving your
happened.
balls now, man, it's going to be like...
This is how big pube works. They say, oh, why don't you get a wee trimmer? Next thing you know, you have a thickness of strand that is only 4 shaves deep, and it's only going to get worse. Do you know what I mean? My generation of men will have, decades shaving. The thickness of the old man pubes of the future is just Terrifying.
It is for Frankie. Look at his face.
I'm absolutely fucking shaken by this question, by the way.
Yep. You will
But
see.
where does this come from? And this
Roll on death. Do you know what I mean?
people speculate that men build themselves and keep themselves because we don't have mortgages, you know. So the modern man has, because the housing market's so shite, you can't put your personality into your house. You need to build yourself up. So you're walking around as your home. That's
Which kind of makes sense, because if you think about the amount of young guys that just spend loads of time in the gym and they Instagram themselves just at the gym, just doing stuff at the gym, because they literally go to work, they go home to their parents' house, they leave the house, they go to the gym.
You don't have a house to hang pictures up on. You need to hang your pictures of your own body up on the internet.
And they're just like, they didn't go with your bid, there was like 2 higher bids, and you're just like...
If it was only 2 higher bids, I wouldn't have to, deface my own pubes. But because the market is so shoddy, and the damage that the Tories have done to the housing stock and Labour over the last 20 years, that is why I'm absolutely emboldening my balls.
As the housing market goes up, I'm going to invest in ball and arsehole shaving equipment. Because the two things are linked.
It's clearly the way forward. But it is that though, because it's all they've got in it. It's they go to the gym, they sit on Instagram, they go out at the weekend. They don't really go to young guys don't really particularly go to the pub on a Tuesday. Do you know what I mean? Have a couple of pints after work or whatever. They tend to go, I'm going to the gym, I go home, I have my dinner, I have my protein.
A, you can't afford it. B, you're going to have to live till 80. Like, the average life expectancies went up, and then we're looking at older guys going, fuck, man. These guys are absolutely rat-assed, and it doesn't look fun. It doesn't look fun to be an old person.
Also, doesn't look fun to be a young person though either.
No, but you just kind of realised, well, I need to be alive for 80 years. I better be kind of healthy for it,
I went...
What are you laughing at?
Just that's a very depressing note to end on. I had to be alive for 8 years. Anyway.
That's it this week for Here Comes the Guillotine. We'll be back next week with more anti-authoritarianism and chummy laughter.
You can get all the episodes of Here Comes the Guillotine on Global Player right now. Search for Global Player on your app store or go to globalplayer.com.